When you perform calf raises every day after 60, you are not just exercising a small muscle in the lower leg, you are reactivating a foundational system that supports movement, balance, and circulation throughout the entire body. Because the calves play a critical role in helping blood travel upward against gravity. And as we age, this function often becomes weaker due to prolonged sitting and reduced daily movement, leading to heavy legs, cold feet, swelling, and a general sense of fatigue that seems to come from nowhere. And each slow, controlled rise onto the toes gently restarts this natural pumping mechanism, improving blood flow not only in the legs, but also toward the heart and brain, which often results in clearer thinking, better endurance, and a surprising feeling of lightness during everyday activities. This improved circulation also brings more oxygen and nutrients to muscles, joints, and connective tissue, allowing the body to maintain health rather than simply manage decline. And over time, many people notice that walking feels easier, standing for longer periods becomes more comfortable, and recovery after movement happens faster, all because a simple daily habit is quietly supporting the body's internal flow systems. Beyond circulation, calf raises rebuild confidence in balance, which is one of the most important yet underestimated aspects of independence after 60. Because balance is not just about strength, it is about communication between the brain, the nerves, and the muscles. And every time you lift and lower your heels with control, your nervous system practices stability, coordination, and awareness of position, helping reduce the fear of falling that causes so many people to limit their movement unnecessarily. As confidence in balance improves, posture often improves as well, because stable feet allow the spine to stack more naturally, the shoulders to relax, and walking to feel smoother and more controlled, creating a positive cycle where better movement encourages more movement rather than avoidance. There is also an emotional shift that happens when calf raises become part of daily life, because the act itself sends a powerful message to the mind that the body is still capable, still responsive, and still worthy of care. And this mindset change often leads people to make better choices in other areas, such as walking more often, paying attention to nutrition, and approaching aging with curiosity instead of fear. Over time, this small daily practice becomes less about the exercise itself and more about reclaiming trust in the body, restoring confidence in movement, and reinforcing the belief that aging does not mean giving up strength or stability, but learning how to maintain them wisely and gently through simple, consistent actions. After 60, the body responds differently to effort, not because it is weak, but because it has become more sensitive to stress. And this is why simple, consistent movements often create more lasting change than intense workouts that exhaust the joints and nervous system. Because the goal at this stage of life is not to push the body into exhaustion, but to invite it into cooperation. And light daily movements like calf raises work precisely because they respect this balance between challenge and recovery. When movement is gentle and repeatable, the body stays engaged instead of defensive, and muscles remain active without triggering inflammation or prolonged soreness, allowing strength to build quietly over time rather than appearing in dramatic bursts followed by setbacks. And this steady adaptation supports joints, tendons, and connective tissue that need regular stimulation but do not tolerate sudden overload as well as they once did. Consistency also trains the nervous system, which plays a central role in movement quality after 60, because strength alone is not enough if the brain and muscles are not communicating efficiently, and daily low-stress movements reinforce these pathways, improving coordination, timing, and responsiveness in ways that occasional intense exercise cannot, especially for balance and stability. Another important reason simple movements matter more is that they are sustainable, because exercises that feel intimidating or painful are rarely continued long term, while movements that feel manageable and safe are more likely to become habits, and habits shape the body far more powerfully than short bursts of motivation, particularly in later years when routine provides structure and reassurance. Light daily exercise also reduces the mental barrier around movement, because when exercise no longer feels like a performance or a test, it becomes an act of care rather than effort, encouraging people to move more frequently throughout the day, whether that means walking, stretching, or standing instead of sitting for long periods, all of which contribute to better overall function. Over time, this approach leads to better joint lubrication, improved muscle tone, and greater confidence in everyday movements, making activities like climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or rising from a chair feel easier and less demanding. And as movement becomes more comfortable, the body naturally stays more active, creating a cycle of strength and mobility that supports independence. Perhaps most importantly, choosing simple, consistent movements over intense workouts reflects a deeper understanding of aging, because it honors the body's history, its adaptations, and its need for care, showing that progress does not have to be aggressive to be real, and that gentle, repeated actions can preserve strength, stability, and dignity far more effectively than force ever could. A nourishing, balanced diet becomes increasingly important after 60, because the body's ability to recover, rebuild, and maintain strength depends not only on movement, but on the quality and consistency of the nutrients it receives. And when daily calf raises or light exercise stimulate muscles, the body relies on adequate nourishment to repair those tissues and support ongoing adaptation, making food an active partner in physical health rather than a passive habit. Protein plays a quiet but essential role in this process, because muscles need a steady supply of amino acids to maintain tone and strength. And after 60, the body becomes less efficient at using protein, which means regular, moderate intake throughout the day is more effective than occasional large amounts, supporting muscle preservation without stressing digestion. Fruits and vegetables provide vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and support circulation, which enhances the benefits of daily movement by keeping tissues flexible and responsive. And when circulation improves, nutrients reach muscles and joints more effectively, creating a reinforcing loop between diet and exercise. Healthy fats, such as those from nuts, seeds, olive oil, and fish, support joint health, brain function, and hormone balance, all of which influence energy levels, mood, and motivation to stay active. And when the body feels well-fueled and comfortable, movement feels less like a task and more like a natural expression of vitality. Hydration is another often overlooked factor, because even mild dehydration can lead to stiffness, fatigue, and reduced coordination, and drinking water regularly throughout the day supports blood volume, joint lubrication, and muscle function, allowing simple exercises like calf raises to feel smoother and more controlled. A balanced diet also supports metabolic health, helping regulate blood sugar levels that influence energy, focus, and endurance. And stable energy makes it easier to stay consistent with daily movement rather than skipping activity due to fatigue or discomfort. Over time, when healthy eating becomes a regular practice rather than a restrictive plan, it reinforces a positive relationship with the body, encouraging awareness and care rather than guilt or pressure. And this mindset supports long-term adherence to both nutrition and exercise habits. Together, nourishment and light movement create a foundation for healthy aging that is sustainable, gentle, and deeply supportive of the body's natural rhythms, allowing strength, balance, and vitality to be maintained through everyday choices that feel accessible and respectful of the aging process. Lifestyle habits quietly shape how the body ages, often more powerfully than any single exercise, because the way you sleep, Breathe, manage stress, and move through your day creates the internal environment in which healing and adaptation either flourish or struggle. And after 60, these background factors become especially important as the body responds more strongly to both care and neglect. Quality sleep allows muscles, joints, and the nervous system to recover from daily activity. And when sleep is consistent and restorative, even light exercises like calf raises become more effective because the body has time to repair tissues, balance hormones, and regulate inflammation. While poor sleep can amplify stiffness, fatigue, and discomfort, making movement feel harder than it needs to be. Daily exposure to natural light helps regulate circadian rhythms, supporting better sleep at night and improved energy during the day. And this simple habit often encourages more outdoor movement, whether through walking or gentle activity, which further reinforces circulation and mood, creating a positive feedback loop between environment and health. Breathing patterns also influence how the body functions because shallow, stressed breathing keeps the nervous system in a heightened state, while slow, deep breathing activates relaxation responses that improve circulation, digestion, and muscle recovery. And taking a few moments each day to breathe intentionally can reduce tension and support smoother, more confident movement. Stress management plays a critical role as well, because chronic stress increases inflammation and muscle tension, interfering with balance, coordination, and recovery. And when stress is addressed through calm routines, social connection, or mindful practices, the body becomes more receptive to the benefits of daily exercise and nourishment. Simple lifestyle choices, such as standing up regularly, avoiding long periods of sitting, and moving gently throughout the day, keep joints lubricated and muscles engaged, reducing stiffness and discomfort. And these small actions accumulate over time, supporting mobility and independence without requiring structured workouts. When lifestyle habits align with movement and nutrition, they create a supportive foundation that allows the body to age with resilience rather than resistance, helping maintain strength, balance, and clarity through everyday choices that feel natural, manageable, and deeply connected to overall well-being. A positive, compassionate mindset becomes one of the most powerful tools for healthy aging after 60, because the way a person thinks about their body directly influences how they move, how consistently they care for themselves, and how willing they are to engage with life. And when aging is viewed only as loss, the body responds with caution and withdrawal. But when it is approached with curiosity and respect, the body often reveals capacities that were thought to be gone. Every small action, such as doing calf raises each day, becomes meaningful when it is framed as an act of self-respect rather than obligation. And this shift in perspective reduces pressure and replaces it with patience, making it easier to stay consistent without frustration or guilt, especially on days when energy is low or progress feels slow. Belief plays a subtle but real role in physical outcomes because when people expect improvement, they are more likely to notice small gains, adjust their habits thoughtfully, and remain engaged in the process. And this engagement strengthens the connection between mind and body, improving coordination, balance, and confidence over time. A compassionate mindset also allows room for rest and adaptation, acknowledging that the body's needs change from day to day and that listening to those signals is not weakness but wisdom, helping prevent injury and burnout while maintaining long-term momentum. As confidence grows, fear around movement often diminishes because the body begins to feel familiar and trustworthy again. And this trust encourages more spontaneous activity, social engagement, and willingness to explore the world beyond routine, all of which contribute to emotional well-being and physical vitality. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring limitations, but recognizing that limitations coexist with potential and that progress can be quiet, gradual, and deeply personal. And this balanced view supports resilience in the face of challenges that naturally arise with age. Over time, a supportive mindset transforms daily habits into rituals of care, reinforcing identity as someone who actively participates in their own health. And this sense of agency often becomes the foundation for sustained independence, purpose, and a fulfilling relationship with the aging body.